Good morning. It is December 14th. It's 9 o'clock. We have all three commissioners in the chamber, along with our administrator and the clerk of the board. At this point in time, I'll call the meeting to order. If you'd please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first item on the agenda is approval of the minutes, September 14th, 2021. Is there any changes, additions, or corrections?
No.
Okay. With that, we'll move down to office business, the vouchers.
All right, we have two vouchers today. Move for approval of fund expenditures in the total amount of $986,346.89 as presented, and note that it has been reviewed and signed by two representatives of the auditor's office and the county administrator.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Move for approval of salary clearing payroll and emergency management payroll in the total amount of $701,493.37 as presented, and note that it has been reviewed and signed by two representatives of the auditor's office.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, with that, we'll move down to the consent agenda, 11 items on the consent agenda.
Move for approval of consent agenda items 1 through 11.
Second. Discussion.
There's been a motion and a second for 11 items on the consent agenda. Discussion has been asked. Please go ahead.
On item 10, which is position changes approved with the 2022 budget, for the benefit of the audience and everyone else, this is a policy the county put in place to avoid any confusion between discussions during the preparation of the annual budget and positions that were requested and discussed that may or may not be added in the coming year. And this affirms that the positions listed were in fact discussed in the board meeting, and at least a majority of the board agreed to add these positions. It is more positions in a single year than I can recall us adding in some time. The county is financially in better health than it's been in a while, largely because of incredible growth rates and new properties coming onto the tax rolls. But these are expenses that will be with us for a long time, so that bears noting. We'll be taking up some other issues today that are related to this that have to do with compensation for employees. And so all of this has to be looked at collectively, but just want to make sure everybody understood that what exactly that number 10 is. It's an affirmation of an action already taken. It's not a decision today to add new positions. Thanks.
Is there any other discussion? Hearing none. There's been a motion and a second to approve 11 consent items, items 1 through 11. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So with that, we'll move down to Commissioner Administrator updates. Keith.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please consult your directory and call again, or ask your operator for assistance. This is a recording. Welcome. To join a conference now, if you are the meeting host, please enter your PIN.
Good morning. Couple of things. Continuing work on the ARPA funding, Rescue Plan Act funding. Received some proposals. We're continuing to review those. Had a meeting with McKinstry this last week regarding the proposals for system upgrades at the HAPO Center. We're going to be bringing some of that information to the commissioners to review and potentially approve our plans going forward with that. As I mentioned in an earlier meeting, Carly Nave, our HR director, is leaving at the end of the month, and so we're reviewing some applications for that position. Also need to inform the public and the board that Matt Mahoney, our Public Works Director, will be leaving at the end of the month for another position, and so we'll have to begin recruiting for his replacement. We'll likely work on a transition plan there with the Public Works Department, but needed to make sure that the board was aware of that change. Continuing work on year-end things, getting ready for next year. We've finished up the audit. We anticipate a clean audit report from the auditors, state auditors report. That will be brought forward in a exit conference with the Board of Commissioners in a future meeting as well. So those are the major things I've been working on.
So Keith, with that, Matt Mahoney is leaving the Public Works position, but he's also the head of our, drawing a blank here right now, of our public building and planning department.
Mm-hmm. He oversees the planning and building department. It's
Right.
also got a department head.
So with that, we're going to have to make a decision on planning and building. And I think that Derek needs to be put in the position of planning and building. And the sooner the better. Otherwise, who's going to be the head of the department?
Well, Derek is the head of the planning and building department now.
Then why do we have Matt Mahoney over top of him?
Just because of Matt's experience and the need for additional resources to manage some of those functions. But Derek has the full authority of the planning and building department.
Okay. Commissioner Peck.
So met with the State Department of Archaeology and Historic Preservation. I'm on a state committee. I think last count there's 4 or 5 voting members. And we receive money each year from the state legislature, which of course comes from the citizens. And these are grant funds for historic preservation of recognized historic structures. This year the list included the Neff family farm barn. This one's actually a barn on the PK Highway. It rated and scored fairly highly for its family history and the barn itself. So I thought that was good news for them and for the county. Greater Columbia Behavioral Health Executive Board, we did annual staff reviews, but more importantly probably we had policy discussions on mental health services and how they'll be provided through the ASO with state funds and possibly local funds, but we didn't get too deeply into that part. Benton Franklin Council of Governments working on bylaw updates, and we had an executive board discussion about the dues that each of the member organizations pay, and also the structure of our board officer positions so as to ensure that we didn't have all the leadership in the regional council of governments coming from a single county. That's not the case now, and we want to make sure that we continue to keep representation from both counties. We've already had enough discussion probably on the Public Works Department, so I'll skip that in the interest of time. Preparations are underway with the Washington State Association of Counties Legislative Steering Committee, which I think I mentioned last week I'll be chairing or co-chairing as the Eastern Washington person. And so if there are specific issues of a legislative nature that impact Franklin County, I would encourage you to forward those to WASAC, where the staff there will assimilate those into the list of other topics that we'll be tackling with the legislature in Olympia starting January 10th. Thanks.
Commissioner Mullen.
Had a meeting, the Ben Franklin Transit Board meeting last week. Just want to say condolences to the family. There was a new hire that passed away shortly after, at the end of their shift. I don't have any more details other than that, but just want to say our thoughts and prayers are with their family. Also, Gloria will be leaving the first of the, and I believe at the end of January, so they'll start recruiting, looking for a new general manager for Ben Franklin Transit. And other than that, that's a pretty short week, so, for me. Thank you.
And like with Commissioner Mullen, I attended the Ben Franklin Transit meeting and went through their budget. And again, their budget is very large and bloated. And hoping to make a change there. It looks like we've got some new board members coming in, and Gloria is elected to leave, so there might be the winds of change might be happening there at Ben Franklin Transit as far as the voters getting an opportunity on the 0.6%. And like with Commissioner Mullen, my condolences go out to the family on the new trainee that passed away. Also, I got some more phone calls on our planning and building department, and people are complaining about planning and building. And so that's why we need to make Derek the head of planning and building and take Matt Mahoney off of it as a reference now, because if Matt's leaving, he's not going to be here available to Derek anymore. So Derek needs to be the one responsible for planning and building. And with that, that's all I have to report on today. So with that, we'll move down to public comment. If there's anybody in the room or anybody on the phone for public comment.
Good morning, gentlemen. Hey, this is not on the agenda, but I'll make it quick. The Juniper Forest OHB, I've spent 26 years recreating out there, and I have noticed something since we put this wonderful road in. I remember planning and doing some meetings talking about the trash is out of control. And it's not just what they call the main dunes, and those are when you first go in there where the road ends. That's always been kind of messy a little bit, but now you can go out to the northern, the eastern, the western ends, and you will find beer cans, water bottles. It's just getting destroyed. And I know you guys are busy, but what can we do, and will you do something to start putting a damper on this? Because what's going to happen is it's going to get shut down. So nobody's going to get to use it. So I just want to bring that to your attention and just say, hey, there is a problem out there with trash. And it really has to do with water bottles, beer cans, partying out there, and they dump it. And it's all over the place now. To the sagebrush, to the vegetation. That's not how we should be taking care of our stuff. So I just want to bring that up.
Are there trash receptacles out there?
No, not even. And you wouldn't be able to get them way out there, but there's nothing even in what they call the main parking lot or the main. There's nothing out there anywhere.
All right, thank you.
Hello, I'm Mark Weber, manager of Tri-Cities Grain in Pasco. We're just right across, we're right across we're on Tank Farm Road in Sacagawea and Highway 12 intersection there. Our concern is with the Amazon building that's coming in and the effect that's going to have on that intersection at Highway 12 and Tank Farm. I don't know if anyone has addressed that in the commission or the county commission. But we see that's going to be a direct impact on Tri-Cities Grain and the surrounding companies, Tidewater and Earthon out there. Not only for traffic, safety, but it's going to influence the amount of business we can do at our facility there. And so I don't know if that's been addressed by the county, but we see a detrimental impact on our business bringing truck traffic in through that area. Amazon, the numbers have been from 600 to 1,800 trucks a day. There's going to be pumped through that plant, plus 1,500 employees per day, shift changes and all that. That's going to impact that area as far as just our business, but the impact on safety going through that intersection and everything. So I don't know if that's been addressed, but it'd be nice to bring some more attention to that. And it might be a city problem, but you guys are the first ones that invited us here, so you're it for right now. And I'd like to see something take place where we can get that taken care of. Tri-State's Grain alone has over 21,000 trucks a year that hits that intersection going in and out of our facility. That's not the fuel trucks included from Marathon across the highway there in Tankwater. So you put the access that Amazon facility has to its actual plant. You have a few different arteries that can feed that. I know they've said, well, we're going to feed everything out the Lewis Street interchange and everything. I don't see all those trucks using that. I see them popping out at that intersection and just causing more congestion in that whole area. So that's all I have to give you guys. I just want to bring the attention to that problem that's going to be there. And it seems like that plant was surprisingly just popped up. Didn't hear nothing about it until the middle of summer in rumors, and then all of a sudden they started building. So we could have missed some notifications that we had to go to, but us Tidewater didn't have a clue that was happening until you started seeing the building come up. So anyway, that's all I have for that.
So normally these are not two ways. We just listened to your comments, but I think some others have already commented. So I'll take the opportunity just to share that the state of Washington has for several years now had a plan on the books. I think the design work is already substantially done. I may be wrong on that point, but I think it is, for a full-blown interchange overpass at that location. It's been identified for a long time as a potential for high hazard as the industrial area grows and traffic grows. So I'm fully confident that, one, they're already focused on it. Two, it hasn't been done yet because there hasn't been the volume and there hasn't been the money. But the volume clearly has changed and is going to change even more. And I've got it on my list of one of the things that the State Association of Counties will be talking with Washington DOT about this session. So for what that's worth.
Is that interchange at Tank Farm, or is it at A Street, or?
No, I'm talking about off of Highway 12, just before the bridge over the Snake.
Right, okay, that's a Tank Farm, that
Right.
intersection there.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's closer to the bridge than, obviously, than Lewis Street. It's probably, what is that, the last quarter of a mile before the bridge somewhere?
Yeah, you have Lewis Street, and then about a mile down, there's A Street, and then probably another mile or close to that is
Yeah.
that intersection where we're at. So.
Yeah, if you want more details on that, you can find me on the county website. My cell phone's there. Give me a call and I'll fill you in.
No, I'll appreciate that. I'll follow up. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
Hi, LaWanda Hatch. Is this on?
Yep.
Franklin County. I'm just here to, I didn't know what the status was on our letter to the state health department and the complaints that were filed. I keep stating this and I keep asking this. If whoever is turning, I understand that Commissioner Peck turned us in. I would just like it if someone could please cite the study that shows that face masks stop the spread of flu viruses, COVID viruses, anything. And the minute I see that study and I'm shown that, I will wear a face mask. Until then, I feel it's my constitutional right to protest something that's not based in science. So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Anybody on the phone, Keith?
No.
Okay, seeing none, we'll move down to the certificate of appreciation for Carly Nye. On behalf of Franklin County, I'd like to express our gratitude for your faithful service as a Franklin County Human Service Director from August 29th, 2014 through December 27th, 2021. Your contributions to the county and your years of service have been invaluable. Please accept this certificate of appreciation for your dedication and professionalism. We hope you know just how much we respect you and have valued you as a colleague. You will be missed at Franklin County. So Carly, with that, I'd like to present this to you. If there's any other commissioners that would like to say something, please feel free.
I'll just offer that we seem to have a line forming of people, some of our best and key staff exiting the county. That's unfortunate. We need to figure out why. Thank you.
I just want to, I've only had the opportunity to work with you for a year, but I do appreciate all the effort that you put in, and I wish you the best of luck and success in your new adventure. Thank you.
Go ahead, Keith.
Not a commissioner, but if I may take a moment just to express my own appreciation to Carly for the work that she's done on my behalf and on behalf of the employees of Franklin County. I've been somewhat involved in this business for 30 years, and Carly is far and away the best HR director I've worked with. She's handled some very difficult collective bargaining issues for the county that have resulted in significant cost savings for us, and always been an advocate for the employees of Franklin County, and a very wise counselor to me in terms of decisions that we've had to make regarding personnel. She was not only instrumental, but really drove the process of our salary review that we did over the past few years and got it implemented. It was something that was sorely needed for Franklin County and puts us on a much better path forward for competing for good talent in the Tri-Cities area and recruiting people for Franklin County. It will be a set of big shoes to fill, but I want to wish Carly the best in her future endeavors and congratulate her on a job well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Carly, for your assistance in getting all the collective bargaining done before you exited. So, with that, Keith, we'll move down to the Special Olympics presentation.
Yes,
Kevin.
Turn that to Kyle.
And so I come to present to the board occasionally throughout the year, and bar none, this is my favorite presentation to introduce. And so, as you're all aware, but for the audience, Franklin County helps contribute funding to the Special Olympics program through the Mental Health Developmental Disability Millage Tax. And so yearly, the person at the ARC that is in charge of the program, Donna Tracy, comes and presents the successes and brings athletes. Unfortunately, last year we weren't able to have this presentation, and so I'm very excited to introduce Donna Tracy and have her come up and talk with you about some of the successes that we've had these last years in these trying times, and introduce some of the athletes with their medals. So I'm going to turn it over to Donna.
I bring my own cheer squad. So, okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. After watching and listening today, I am so grateful for my job. And because I live in a cotton candy world of happiness and joy. And we're so appreciative of Franklin County and Kyle and all the support in helping us create a Special Olympic office. We were down to 100 athletes here in our Tri-Cities. And with your help, we're up to 350. As a matter of fact, Jeff, do you want to stand up? Jeff's going to be a new athlete this year. So he's not sporting any medals right now, but we anticipate he'll be back next year with some medals. Jeff, thank you. You can have a seat now. Thank you. And then, with your help, we brought Eddie and Alex. Eddie, come on up. And Eddie has normally done track and field, but this year he learned to ride a bicycle. And he's competing and been riding bikes all year. And I have Alex. And Alex, what new sport did you do this year?
I did cycling. It was the first time for me, and the really first time to ride a bike. I never rode a bike for a long time. It was the first time doing it. I was nervous doing it since I can't even balance riding a bike.
Yeah, so he did really well. So we got him on a bike, and that took us a while because we took some time talking him into it. And then you did ice skating, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, it's the first time we ever had ice skating in the Tri-Cities, and he competed and won a what?
I got second for the figure skating. I thought it was super fun.
Okay, silver and everything. So thank you, Alex. I brought a champion for our volleyball, who is state and regional champion, and that's Christina. She's part of the volleyball team. And then I brought our bowling champion, Greg Bird. Greg, can you stand up? I don't know if that weight of the medals is too much for you, buddy. But Greg Bird is, well, okay, did you want to come up and say thank you? I can sense his wanting to come up here.
Oh, okay.
So, Greg, where are you going to go this summer?
Yeah, to Orlando, Florida.
And why are you going to go?
Because I was picked to represent Washington in the United States Games.
For bowling. So. Well, I want to share with you, not only are you touching personal lives, with the support of our community. I know you know RV is anxiously supportive of us, and our community police officers have been so supportive and making it possible that we could bring back Special Olympics. And so we're touching more people. We had over 350 kids be able to do young athletes during COVID. The families were given equipment, and the teachers used that curriculum to be able to help their kids be engaged. And the ARC ran young athletes, and the parents are after me to run more. And it's so fun to see the inclusion of special needs kids trying to crawl through tubes and jump things with non-disabled kids. There's no barriers. And it makes it that our families feel like they're included. And it teaches those children that having a special needs friend is awesome. It has been a huge blessing in my life. I have a daughter who does Special Olympics in the ARC, and I can't tell you the quality of life it adds to us. That she has friends, and that she's included, and that she wears her medals and feels like she's a champion, and that she feels her value. So, I know you guys deal with a lot of muck. I listen through this, and I appreciate all that you do, but we wanted to come and say thank you, because you're doing a lot of good. And we're getting the fall games back again, and it brought $360,000 of revenue for tourism dollars. And we had the regionals here just in November, and then we're having the state games again. So they love our community, and it looks like they really would like to see it happen every year. We were able to use the HAPO building. So that was just, I don't know if you guys were able to, I know Clint was able to speak for us. Anyway, thank you for your support. I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Donna, and thank you, Kyle. Greg, good luck down there in Florida. Go down there and win some more medals. Well, certainly appreciate everything you're doing, Donna. I know it's a lot of time, but like I've said at the speech, every life is precious and deserves an opportunity. So competition is the best means for creating good times. And thank you. And thank you to Broadmoor RV, John, for all he does for the Special Olympics.
Oh, yes.
Okay, with that, we'll move down to the 2002 non-bargaining cost of living adjustment. Carly? Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks. We appreciate it. Hey, what are we for coaches? Anybody interested or know if we're looking for coaches?
Recruiting on the way out. I love it.
I don't know about having to follow that one. My stuff's not nearly as fun, ever. So this morning I have several compensation-related items for you. The first one is a cost of living adjustment for non-bargaining employees as discussed during the 2022 budget adoption process.
A 3% COLA, right?
It's a 3% COLA. Mhm.
Yep. Is there any discussion? If no discussion, I'd entertain a motion.
Move for approval of Resolution 2021-296 as presented in the matter of benefits contribution for non-bargaining employees and elected officials.
Second.
Been a motion and a second.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, I believe I read the wrong line. That's the,
No, it's 296. You have it right.
did I say 296, Carly?
Yes.
But I think
I think the number was
I read
correct, the subject was.
Right, what
skipped
happened
ahead.
is the bifocals, which are over here and should be here. So allow me to correct that. It is 2021-296, and it's in the matter of non-bargaining cost of living adjustment.
Yes. There's been a motion and a second for the 2022 non-bargaining cost of living adjustment, Resolution 2021-296. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. With that, we'll move down to the benefits contribution for non-bargaining employees and elected officials.
And this is the one I meant to read. Move for resolution approval 2021-297, the matter of benefits contribution for non-bargaining employees and elected officials, as presented.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second for benefits contribution for non-bargaining employees and elected officials, Resolution 2021-297. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. So with that, we'll move down to Resolution 2021-298, new process to select elected salaries.
So these next three items are all related to the salaries of elected officials. As you recall, the board had adopted an ordinance to implement a county salary commission. Ultimately, that was rescinded due to lack of interest and getting people to serve, because those the positions on that commission are prescribed very specifically as to how those positions are filled and who can fill them. And so there's a need for how to set elected official salaries. There was a proposal brought to the board. Ultimately, it was asked that the elected officials make a proposal for how those salaries should be set. And in this particular case, I'm talking about the 5 elected officials: the assessor, the auditor, the clerk, the treasurer, and the coroner. And the resolution 2021-298 reflects that proposal that they have asked me to present on their behalf, which sets those elected official salaries at 51.5% of the Superior Court judge's salary as set by the Washington Citizens Commission on Salaries for Elected Officials. I know there was some question as to if the Board of County Commissioners could legally take action that ties these salaries to an outside agency. We did have this proposal reviewed by our Chief Civil Deputy Prosecuting Attorney, and she said there is no concern there.
Yeah, and if I might, the question was not so much could we tie it to an outside, but could we tie it to an outside that has data that are not produced by a state agency? For example, could we tie it to a West Coast cities or some other, but to tie it to a state salary commission is legally, in my mind, different, and I don't think that that's a problem. It's when we try and tie it to something else that is outside the citizen process. That was the distinction.
The legal opinion was that this board can pretty much do whatever they want when it comes to elected salaries other than their own.
Yeah, and I ran this by WASAC and through the AG staff, and they have a different view. But this answer, I do believe, is lawful and acceptable, and I'm fine with it.
Okay.
My question would be is why would the commissioners not be attached to the same resolution as far as affecting their salaries along with the other electeds?
The commissioners could. I don't recall being asked to do something with the commissioner's salary, but certainly the board could do that. You could do that prospectively. The board can increase their own salaries during your term of office. So it would have to be at the beginning of the next term. Because you're setting your own salaries, and my understanding is once that mechanism was in place, then those salaries could increase